Good afternoon, Rotarians, and welcome to another Joint District 5690, 5670 webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about RYLA, the Rotary Youth Leadership Award, and how we in our two districts have an opportunity to help leadership development with our youth. My name is Fred Highspire, and I'm going to be your host today, and I will introduce our presenters in just a minute. But again, I want to welcome each of you. Our guest presenters today are past District Governor Dean Kennedy and the co-directors of the RYLA camp experience in Winfield, Valencia Hollis and Sam DeNike. And we're happy to have all three of these folks as presenters today. And so I'm going to go ahead and ask Dean to begin with some opening comments. And then Dean, you can take it the way you want. And we'll, once you're done presenting, we will then open it up for questions. Before Dean breaks in, I do want to make sure that all of you look at the chat section of our control panel. It has the RYLA website where students who are selected to RYLA can go and fill out their application online. Or if you or your club members or your high school connections would like to learn a little bit more about RYLA, they can also go to that site. So with that, welcome Dean, welcome Valencia, welcome Sam, and Dean, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Fred. Obviously, those of you that know me know that I live and die RYLA. So anyway, I apologize in advance, but I am district chair for 5690 currently and district chair in the future for 5680, which is very exciting as well. We welcome all of you from both of the districts. A little of the history, this camp started as a dream. I'm a big thought for the day person, and it started as a dream where Cheryl Rood, now Dr. Cheryl Rood, and I were visiting about youth leadership and what could happen, and that's been over 25 years ago. We talked about it, and eventually in my office, Cheryl Rood said, well, let's quit talking about it and let's do it. And so that's really how the camp started. I was a brand new Rotarian, and like many Rotarians, I didn't know very much. Sometimes you can be in Rotary a long time and not know very much, but I did learn about RYLA, and I figured out we were talking about doing youth leadership in Cali County alone, and I figured out that we can do it for a wide range of people if we do RYLA. And so I went to the Winfield Rotary Club and to Rotary District 5690. They were very supportive, and there 25 years ago, RYLA began in District 5690, and it's been going every year since then. One of the big items that came out of that was my thought for the day: nothing happens unless first the dream. And when you're doing the dream, it's not bad to dream big. So that's really what we did, and it's been exciting to see that happen. This is a partnership with the district, with the Winfield Rotary Club, and most importantly, with Southwestern College leadership team. And let me tell you, I would not be able to do this without all of those partners involved in helping with it. And each year we have co-directors that are part of the leadership program at Southwestern, and they do all the work, to be quite honest. They're the ones that do everything. I'm just the pretty face behind the scene to some extent. So I'm happy to have two of the three co-directors here today that are students in the leadership program, and Valencia and Sam. And I'd like them each to tell a little bit about themselves, up to this point, and tell a little about yourselves.
Okay, I'm Valencia Hollis. I am a sophomore here at Southwestern College. I'm originally from Leavenworth, Kansas, and I graduated from Leavenworth High School. I'm here a part of the leadership team and the women's track and field team at Southwestern.
Cool. I'm Sam Denike. I'm from McAllister, Oklahoma, and I'm a junior here at Southwestern College. I am a part of the tennis team, the philanthropy board, and the leadership team.
And each year, about this time, it's a major thrust that the Rotary clubs, this was set up so that the Rotary clubs would individually select the students that they want to send to camp. And so this is the time of the year that your secretaries of your club probably have heard from one or the other of these co-directors as far as the students and recruiting the students. The students would be current freshmen, sophomores, or juniors. We have not specified because you may have a freshman that's a very mature freshman, or you may have a junior that's very immature. So we allow the clubs to do the selection of that. We learned early on, this does not have to be the top 4.0 student. Maybe it's another student that doesn't have the opportunities that 4.0 student has. And so when you're selecting those students, you want to look at that, because we've learned that sometimes it's that little bit of a challenge with some of those other students that ignites them, and all of a sudden they realize, hey, I need to do things differently. And so when you're selecting those students, don't look at just that 4.0 that's been to every camp there is. Look at some of the others that haven't had the opportunity possibly. At this point, I'd like them maybe to talk a little bit about the schedule, the life of what happens to those students when they get here. They do not get to stay in the same room with their friends they come with. You might not tell them that, but we will divide them when they get here. And so you might talk a little bit about the schedule that's planned.
So basically our schedule is the students will arrive on May 29th for the first day of camp, and camp will end on June 2nd. And we have a 5-day period of the students involved in leadership building activities. So we'll have things like we teach them lessons about our pillars of leadership throughout those days, and we kind of combine activities within those lessons. So rather than just teaching them the lesson and having like a class session, we go out in the community and we do stuff to teach them like more so in depth about that particular lesson. So we have service work planned, and also fun things like we're having a cookout, we're going to a concert. So just little things to make them have fun while also learning and progressing in their leadership abilities.
Yeah, so we also are doing a big team competition. So the games that we're picking for those competitions kind of center around the lessons that we learned throughout the multiple days. And so it's a friendly competition between people, and we're trying to break them up maybe where they learn and meet new people that they might not have already met.
And our big goal surrounding this camp is for them to take these things that they've learned throughout these 5 days and take that back to their community and share it with their fellow classmates, their parents, their friends, their families. So we want them to not just have the things they learn here, but we want them to take that back and use that for the rest of their lives or worth their while.
Pretty much some of the things that are scheduled in this year, as we've put the schedule together, we figured out that the Winfield Rotary Club celebrated their 100th year and had a project which basically is a performance venue in Island Park that several years ago we did a playground. And we have a concert that is while the camp is going on. So Randall King and Jake Worthington will be here performing at that concert. And so that's going to be a little bit of an added plus, because they'll be here for one of our kickoff concerts at Island Park. and we're anticipating that to be a fairly large crowd that attends at that concert. So we're excited about having the opportunity for them to attend that and kind of see, when you have a service project, what impact it has on the community. And when they go back home, they can say, hey, when you do the service project, it's going to benefit so many other people in the process of doing that. Also, we try to give them some exposure that if they're in Interact, obviously they already know about Rotary, but if they're not, they can go back and they can start an Interact club in their community. And there is a Rotary club in their community that would be very supportive of helping in that process. And there are people in the district that would be supportive of helping with that. So those are ideas that we plant, and we are aware that has happened when students have left camp and they have gone home and they've started some of those things. One of the things we tell them, they can go home and do everything the same way they have before, or they can go home and make a difference in their community. And we certainly hope they will do the latter, go home and make a difference. Sometimes we get questions about how to enroll. We do have online enrollment, and that website, if you pull up that website, pretty much everything should be there, along with the release forms. We have to have those release forms. They will do a ropes course, and so there are release forms that have to be completed. And all of that information should be there, but if not, there are phone numbers. You just contact the phone number there or call me, and we'll get you set up with whatever's going on. So another part of it, you can also go to the district website, and there is a link to the Southwestern website on the district, but you have the website to go directly to the Southwestern College place, and we appreciate they update and help us with all of that and handle that for us. So,
Dean, before you move on, I did put the RYLA website in the chat box so you can cut and paste to your browser, as well as some additional information identifying the dates and the cost of RYLA. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that brings up another question, because the clubs ask, the cost is $300. We've tried to keep it very reasonable, and there isn't a lot of fluff. We get things donated, and the Winfield Rotary Club is very, very supportive and help with different things. But our co-directors, they have to prepare a budget. They have a lot of different things that they have to do in the process of doing this, and so we do try to keep it modest in cost for the Rotary clubs. There are some Rotary clubs that have a buy-in where the student has to pay part of the fee, but that's up to your individual Rotary club about how you handle that. If you're sponsoring the student, a lot of the Rotary clubs pay it. Sometimes we get questions about recruiting students, and historically, one of the best ways of recruiting students is that if you have somebody from the high school that is a counselor or a teacher that's a member of your Rotary Club or that's associated, they can be extremely helpful in identifying students for you. So I would encourage you to contact your high school. Certainly, if you're fully paying for it, their Stuco council reps or different ones like that would be excellent people to send for the leadership training. Prior attendees that have attended it also can talk to students and tell them what it's like and that they had a lot of fun. It's not all work. There is a lot of fun, and the counselors are Southwestern leadership students. They're not an old guy like me. They're actually the students, and they have more energy in about 5 minutes than I'll have all day. So it's a lot of fun for them. Also, Rotary children and grandchildren certainly can attend this. My grandson will be here. My grandchildren, every one of them is going to attend this camp. and I will have a grandson at camp this year. So your grandchildren, even if they live out of the area, people can privately pay for their grandchildren, and we've had Rotarians that have done that, where they privately pay for their grandchildren from Texas or somewhere else to come and attend the camp. The other is friends and neighbors. Certainly, if you're talking to friends and neighbors about their children or grandchildren, they would also be a good place. I've been talking to the neighbor girl, and anyway, trying to encourage her to attend the camp. So those are the different ways that you can look at recruiting the students that I have seen that have worked. Now I want to ask our co-directors some questions about the camp to see, because they're doing all the work. And I guess my first question is, what's your most challenging task with the camp?
I feel like the most challenging thing so far has been kind of recruitment, because like in the beginning we barely had any kids, so it took like a lot of like ideas and working together to figure out ways to ring in more children and get the word out about camp.
Okay.
I think one of the challenges we kind of had was coming up with a theme and why we picked it.
Oh, yes.
That was a hard one, but we finally found a theme that we really think that can be shown as a leadership side and also incorporate a lot of fun with it.
Well, tell what the theme is. We really haven't mentioned what the theme is.
So our theme this year is rock stars, and as you know, a rock star is someone that's on stage and kind of a role model for other people, and depending on their image, like they can portray a good image and help others and be that role model that younger people need. So we're trying to portray it as a leader, you're kind of the center of attention, and you need to be doing the right thing, and because people are going to be watching you at all times, and people are going to be following what you're doing. So if you're going to take on that role, you need to take it seriously and portray your image and be that leader and be that role model for others.
And hopefully they'll see that at the concert that they're attending.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, what's been the most fun?
I feel like the most fun has been working with Colby and Sam. They've been two great partners, and just working together and having fun and has grown our bonds. And it's not all work for us. We enjoy planning and we enjoy doing this, and we're really looking forward to put on this show and see how it goes, and see if we can pull it out. So.
Yeah, I can probably second that. It's I've never been to this camp, and being like my first year in leadership, they've already had experience on this camp. So it's been really fun seeing how much they've enjoyed this camp and how excited they are. And they've kind of thrown me in, and it's been just a lot of good energy and a lot of just go, go, go. But we're really excited just to get to the camp and start setting it up.
Well, and one of the really fun things is when the campers arrive.
Oh, yeah.
That's normally a lot of fun, and the parents, watching the parents drop the students off, or Rotarians, certainly Rotarians, we love for them to drop them off. And if we know that Rotarians are coming to drop them off, Rotarians are welcome at the camp anytime. But if we know that Rotarians are coming, please let me know, because we want to make sure that you know what's going on. And there is a program on the last day.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk a little bit about the program on the last day?
So throughout camp, we've mentioned that they'll be learning about the 5 kind of main focuses of leadership. And so we want them to incorporate that into a big kind of presentation that we want them to share with their fellow classmates, their fellow campers and parents and things like that. So we want them to kind of make this big presentation of basically their experience of camp and what they have learned, and how they want to take that back to their community and share with others what they have learned throughout these 5 days.
Okay. What should the Rotarian clubs, and you've talked about this a little bit, what should the Rotary clubs expect of those students when they arrive back at home after camp?
Hopefully they can kind of see a little bit of excitement and a little bit of change. Our whole goal is that they at least learn something and aren't afraid to kind of view things differently or take on different roles that they might not think that they would be able to take.
Yeah, the goal is to kind of find those leadership qualities in them and bring them out and make them stand out, so they won't be afraid to, you know, kind of help out in the community and do things that they've never done before or experienced before.
That's one of the things I've noticed in that program at the end, because some of those students come in and they're very, very shy and timid and afraid, and they get to the end of camp and I think, where did this student come from? It's not even the same person, because all of a sudden they're totally different. So anyway, and different in a good way. So that's always interesting to see when you see that. One of the things for the Rotary clubs, they should certainly, the student, and I'm going to tell them when they leave, if the Rotary club does not ask them to come speak, they go to the Rotary club and tell them, I'm going to speak to your Rotary club. And that's one of the homework assignments they are given. They should go back and speak to your Rotary club. We want them to go back and talk about what they learned and share that with the Rotary club. And so if you don't ask them, expect a phone call from them that they're going to come and talk to you, because we challenge them to do that. And we challenge them to become more of a leader in their community and use what they've learned to be a leader in their community and in their school and even at home in different things. So anyway, any other questions that I guess we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, that would be great, Dean. Let's go ahead and do that. So if you have any questions in our audience, just shout them out.
This is Kurt Harper. I've got a question for Valencia and Sam, maybe as some of the directors of the program. Could you give us some more insight about how many kids are coming for or expected to come for the program? And then if it doesn't tell us any special trade secrets, what goes into getting them divided out into the teams that you work with then separately?
So last year we had about 35 kids come to this camp, and this year we're looking to closer to 40 or 45 even. And basically dividing them up is kind of a random process. We kind of don't want them to be around the people that they came in with, or we don't want them to get too comfortable around a certain group of people. So we want to kind of switch that up, so they'll be we'll be doing different competitions, and they'll be on one certain team, but during competitions they're going to be moved around and be a part of a team with somebody else. But all their points will go to the team that they're originally on. So like if they will be on like the green team, then they'll be with people from blue, purple, or brown, or whatever other teams are. But whatever points they gain from that certain competition will go towards the green team. So they won't be just associated with one team throughout the whole camp, because we want them to get a little bit of everyone and not just a certain group of people.
So part of the experience isn't just moving away from the peers that they've come with, but actually getting to interact with a wider variety of kids with different aspects.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
You know,
yes, sir.
If we have two from the same community, they will not be on the same team. So if there are multiple from the same community, which we do, we have several from Andover, they will not be on the same team. Yes. Don't tell them. But if they come from the same community, that's an automatic that they're going to get divided, because they already know each other possibly. And so you want to split them. Our maximum number that we have targeted for is 60. And if every club in the district, in the two districts, sent one student, we would have 60. So that's what our target has been for the recruitment.
John Engel here. We've in the past sent up to 4 and even 5 students. Because of the merger with the districts, we're talking about 2 this year. Should we limit how many kids come to us or not?
Absolutely not. First
No,
come,
sir.
first serve.
Yes, sir.
I've told that to everyone in the district. The first one's in. If we get too many, those that, you know, the early bird gets the worm.
Mhm.
So please recruit your students and send them in.
Do we have
Dean?
any other questions?
Yeah, this is Kurt again. Dean had talked earlier about some clubs pay 100%, other clubs look to the students to at least share in that. And I know every club and every student would have their own reasons to take one approach or the other, but have you seen any difference in the level of engagement with the students based on whether they've got a stake in it or whether they are there on a full scholarship?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. It's up to the individual clubs, and maybe it's based on their budget, but we really I have not seen that. I'm really the only one that really knows the payment part of that part of it's split.
Okay.
But not really. I think it's a little like boys state and girls state. Every community, they recruit the students for that. The students don't have to pay anything for that they're recruiting and sending to those events. So I would think that you would want to consider it similar to that. It's the same type of thing. And the leadership, the leadership that they gain from this camp will do the community a lot of good. That's one of the reasons why we have had communities that have sent seniors, and that's up you can do that. That's your choice. We target freshmen, sophomores, and juniors because they'll be able to go back to your community and help your schools. If you choose a senior, they may not still be in your community. They may go on to a school somewhere else. And so that's the reason why we're telling the clubs to maybe target freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and those that are going to be targeted towards some leadership type things. But sometimes it'll spark the interest for them to decide, hey, I want to be on student council, or I want to be president of some club. They won't be quite so afraid of it.
Another good recruiting place are Interact clubs. And I know we don't have a lot of Interact clubs within the 5680 district, but we do have some. And I think that's an excellent place for clubs that are connected to Interact to recruit somebody for RYLA.
It also helps in training their future leaders within the Interact club, because we have had that where they're in Interact and then they become a leader within Interact when they go back. So that's a good way to train them, to get them ready for the coming year or two when they can take over as president or whatever.
Well, conveniently, I'm meeting with the Interact Club tomorrow at Wichita East. And I just made a note to myself to make sure I talk with them about RYLA, because I suspect some of them were participants. But with this idea of identifying some of the kids who may not be that 4.0 student who's done every other extracurricular activity, any tips on how they can help identify some of their peers to step up to the plate and participate in a program like this?
Wichita East has been a good place to recruit students with their Interact club, and we've had students from there several times. So that's an excellent place, and their sponsor to target those. And you're a member of the Wichita Downtown Club, which how do I say this? Always seems to have trouble finding students.
Yeah.
Which if they just go to their schools that they have 5 of and talk to a teacher or a counselor, I would imagine that they would be able to recruit their students out of the 5 school districts in Wichita.
Okay.
But I'm not real sure that they have targeted somebody that's in charge of doing that in the past, and that it doesn't matter which club it is. that's the important thing, is that you have somebody that's in charge of doing that. And I know Rod's talked about that with Youth Exchange as well, that you have to have somebody that's kind of targeting the youth services for those things to happen with RYLA, with the student exchange and the other areas. But Wichita East is a perfect place to recruit students. We've had them before from the Interact there.
Good.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, then I would encourage all of you to make sure that you go out, recruit a student. We've got about a month, a little less than a month left for recruitment, because the deadline is coming up in May. Dean, what is the deadline date? Or
22nd.
May 22nd, and
May 22nd.
I have gotten students in the day before. I don't enjoy doing that, but we try to get them in and accommodate the clubs until we max out. So please
Right.
keep submitting them. What are we up to now?
22.
Yeah, we're currently at 22. So those that want to recruit more than 2 students from their communities and that turned them in, go ahead and recruit the others.
Okay, great. So May 22nd is the deadline date, and we encourage you to go out and do that recruitment. Copies of the slides, that should say from the RYLA webinar, will be sent out to all the clubs in our 2 districts, as well as we will send a link to the recorded webinar.
If anybody has questions, I'm sure they have my email.
Yeah, I've got that here in the slides, Dean. District resources are also listed in the slide deck. Our 2 district governors, as well as our district governor elect and nominee, as well as the trainers for our 2 districts.
And there
finally,
is one question that has come up several times. Our District 5690 did have scholarships to cover payment, but they do not have scholarships for each club like they did the prior year. So I've had that question a number of times, that scholarship does not apply for this year.
Okay, great, good point, Dean. Thank you. And then I just want to say thank you to you, Dean, and to Valencia and to Sam for spending this time with us. Good information and a good way to be involved with youth in our communities and to have some lasting impact. The slide also contains the website. For those of you who are online, you can see that. For those of you who are just joining by telephone, look forward to receiving the slides in the mail. I want to also thank Sue Pierce, who's a past district governor from 5690, for allowing us to use her company's GoToMeeting platform, which we're using today. And so if you happen to know Sue or see Sue, thank her again for that service. With that, I'll say thank you to all of you for attending. I know we didn't have very many online, but I think the information was good and the recording will be good to send out. So we will have other webinars. We have at least one more planned before the new Rotary year, and that is for assistant governors and those who may wish to be an assistant governor or want to learn about being an assistant governor. And that will be in May. Just watch your emails for that. And then starting with the July 1 new Rotary year, we'll be looking at a series of webinars for the 1920 Rotary year. Thank you again. With that, you can go ahead and log off. And if anybody has any questions, be sure to email Dean. And thank you very much again.
Thanks, Fred.
Yeah, thank you, Fred. And thanks again, Dean.
You're welcome.